going on, guys? This is DropThisBox, and I hope all the guys are having a fantastic day today. And I am super excited to talk about this movie today on the channel because this is allowing me to go back in time when it came to me experiencing Spider-Man for the very first time. And this is still one of my favorite movies. Like, you're obviously not going to forget like one of those movies that really made an impact in your life. And this movie in particular was a huge part of my childhood, and it also introduced me to the whole world of superhero movies, which I really did appreciate, because if I never sat down and watched Spider-Man, I probably would have never gotten like super invested into Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, etc., so on, especially when it came to the big lead up to Infinity War and Endgame. So I definitely do owe Spider-Man a lot of thanks for that. And throughout this video, I'm just going to be sharing a couple thoughts when it comes to my overall experience with Spider-Man, like, you know, just sitting down and just talking about things that really stood out to me that definitely made it a memorable film. So I really do hope you guys enjoy this video. And if you guys have any thoughts of your own when it comes to your own personal experiences with Spider-Man that you guys want to share with me, as always, be sure to let me know down below because I would absolutely love to know about it. So I still remember the feeling of watching Spider-Man swing through New York City for the very first time. There was something incredible about seeing a superhero I knew from comic books brought to life in such a vivid way. This is one of the first times a superhero movie truly captured the essence of a comic book, and it made Spider-Man feel more than a character in a story. He felt like someone real, someone relatable. And as a fan, it was an unforgettable experience that no other movie had quite given me before. The visual effects were groundbreaking for their time, and seeing Spidey web swing between skyscrapers was pure magic. It was this mix of larger-than-life action and Peter Parker's grounded, real-world problems that made the movie so impactful. This wasn't just a superhero spectacle, it was a story that really invested you in Peter's life. And I was hooked immediately and couldn't wait to see more superhero movies with the same level of immersion and realism. And watching Peter Parker struggle with his powers, his responsibilities, and his relationships added layers to the movie that made it feel deeper than a simple action flick. The characters' challenges reminded me of the everyday struggles we all face, even if ours aren't as extreme. And the realism made Spider-Man's world feel grounded and added an emotional punch to every scene. That mix of action and heart left me wanting more superhero films that could do the same. Spider-Man back then was a movie that didn't just entertain me, it transported me to a whole new world where heroes could have flaws and real struggles. That level of emotional depth was rare in superhero movies at the time, and it was a huge reason why this film was the spark for my love of the genre. It was as if this movie opened the door for a whole new type of cinema that mixed spectacle with storytelling, and I knew I wanted more. Tobey Maguire's portrayal of Peter Parker was another key reason why this movie felt so special. Tobey had this unique ability to make Peter Parker feel like an ordinary person who happened to have given extraordinary abilities. He brought a vulnerability and awkwardness to the character that made Peter's struggles resonate on a personal level. He didn't look like that typical Hollywood superhero. He looked like someone who could have been sitting in my high school science class. Tobey's take on Peter Parker made me root for him in a way I hadn't done for other movie characters. He captured the essence of what it's like to be an underdog, somebody who's constantly underestimated but who also rises to the challenge anyway. That made his journey as Spider-Man feel inspiring rather than just impressive. And watching his Peter deal with bullies, unrequited love, and family responsibilities while also learning to be a hero was relatable, and it made every victory feel personal. And his chemistry with the rest of the cast, especially Kirsten Dunst's Mary Jane, added to the emotional stakes. Their love story wasn't just a plot device, it felt real, with all the ups and downs that come with young love. It made Peter's sacrifices as Spider-Man even more powerful because you could see how much he wanted a normal life, but his sense of duty always came first. Tobey's portrayal of Peter's inner conflict added a layer of complexity that made the story feel mature and grounded. This version of Peter Parker didn't just win me over as a character, he set the standard for what I wanted to see in superhero movies from then on. Tobey's performance showed me that superheroes don't need to be perfect or fearless, they can be flawed and vulnerable, and that's what makes them interesting. Because of his portrayal, I realized that superhero movies could have depth and they could connect with audiences on an emotional level rather than just wowing us with action scenes. And another major factor that made Spider-Man unforgettable was Willem Dafoe's portrayal of the Green Goblin. Dafoe brought such intensity and charisma to the role that it was impossible to look away whenever he was on screen. The Green Goblin wasn't just a cookie-cutter villain, he was someone with depth, someone driven by ambition and madness. Dafoe's performance added a sense of unpredictability that made every scene of him tense and exciting. The dynamic between Peter and the Green Goblin elevated the movie's stakes in a way that few superhero films managed to achieve. The fact that Norman Osborn was both a father figure to Peter and the villain created a tragic duality. Dafoe portrayed Norman's struggle with his darker side so convincingly that you could almost feel sympathetic for him, even as he terrorized the city. This complexity made him a memorable antagonist, someone who felt just as real as Peter. Dafoe's Green Goblin set a high bar of what a superhero villain could be. He was ruthless, but he was also strangely charming, with that chilling smile and eerie voice. His menacing laugh combined with his unpredictable nature made him one of the most memorable villains of the early 2000s. It was thrilling and frightening at the same time, and it kept me on the edge of my seat every time he appeared. Having a villain as compelling as a Green Goblin added so much to the movie's impact. It wasn't just Peter's journey that kept me hooked, it was the anticipation of every confrontation between these two powerful yet flawed characters. Dafoe's performance added a layer of psychological depth that made the movie feel almost like a character study, and it showed me that a great superhero film needs a great villain to match its hero. And Sam Raimi's direction was also the heart of what made Spider-Man so different from other superhero movies of its time. Raimi brought a distinct style and flair that combined classic comic book storytelling with modern-day visual techniques. His background in horror also influenced the film, especially in some of the tense dramatic scenes that kept me glued to the scene. Raimi had a knack for blending humor, heart, and high-stakes drama in a way that felt balanced, creating a story that was both serious and fun. One thing Raimi did incredibly well was paying homage to Spider-Man's comic book origins. The camera angles, the close-ups, and the way he shot the action sequences all felt like panels jumping right off the page. Raimi's visual storytelling was a love letter to comic fans, but also invited newcomers to fall in love with the character. He made Spider-Man's world feel vibrant and alive, capturing New York City in a way that made it feel like a character in its own right. Raimi's use of practical effects whenever possible added a level of authenticity that's rare in superhero movies today. Scenes like the one where Peter discovers his wall-crawling abilities were filmed with clever camera tricks and practical stunts that made it feel real. Raimi's style made the movie stand out from the very beginning, and it was his unique approach that set Spider-Man apart from the typical action movies of that era. Thanks to Raimi's vision, Spider-Man had a timeless quality that still holds up today. He showed me that a superhero movie didn't have to be just about action and special effects, it could also be about telling a story that resonates on multiple levels. Raimi's attention to detail and his love for the character shone through in every frame, and it made me realize how much potential superhero movies have when handled by a passionate and skilled director. But other than that, that is all I have to say about Spider-Man today. It just felt really good just to sit back for a little bit and give my overall thoughts on the film when it came to things that really stood out to me. Because like I said earlier, this was the movie that introduced me to the whole world of superhero films. So I'm very glad that I was able to watch Spider-Man all of those years ago, because it really made me not only fall more in love with the character, because I was already a fan of Spider-Man as a kid when I first watched this movie, but especially after watching this film, it definitely helped me become even more of a fan, just by how blown away I was when I watched this movie all those years ago, and I just really love this movie so much, and whenever I get the chance to talk about it, really brings me to a good place that just puts the biggest smile on my face, just because of like how impactful it was in my childhood, and how it's always a moment I could always look back and be like, yeah, that was awesome. Like, I'm super glad I checked out this movie all those years ago. But if you guys have any thoughts of your own when it comes to this film, because trust me, I would absolutely love to hear your own thoughts. Like, if you guys watched this movie before and you guys want to share like the first time you watched it, like how you felt and everything, or just anything else in general, be sure to let me know down below. I would absolutely love to hear it. And if you guys enjoy this video, as always, be sure to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I do plan on talking about the other Spider-Man movies, so don't worry. I definitely do plan on talking to them. But like I said, if you enjoy the content on the channel, be sure to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If you guys want to check me out on my social media, be sure to check out my Facebook page, my Twitter, which I'm usually active on the most, my Instagram, and my TikTok page. All of that is located in the description below. Be sure to click on that bell for notifications so you guys are notified whenever I drop a video on the channel. But other than that, I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever the day may be. If it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.